good track record. We'll be talking to DEQ every day when the test results come in from that. And then once they're saying, okay, we'll go out and we'll actually flush the lines to make sure there's no turbid water left in our systems. We'll flush those out, which is again is going to require a lot more water. We'll get all that flushed out, and then hopefully within the next 2 weeks, we'll be able to do a testing. It'll come back. If we get it there on like Tuesday morning, we'll have the results Wednesday. We'll hand all this information over to DEQ, and hopefully we can lift the boil order. Here's one thing I just want to be honest with everybody about. Lifting the boil order doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet. This still is a temporary system. I see the boil order going away here pretty soon, but I see us being in a health advisory. Just in case something happens, because at this point, we're not using the screens, we're using the sedimentation basin alone. So we'll look at ramifications of that for people on dialysis, at the hospital, at the care center. The immune compromised people might still have an issue. So then,
so since you're not using the screens, you're going to use the sedimentation basin to basically clarify the water, allowing the turbidity part. So what's the flow rate that you have to manage to enable that system?
The flow rates that are coming in right now, the more turbid the water is, the more hazy, the more backwashing we have to do. So you got to think, the water comes into the plant, it goes up through this huge tank that's, the size of this part of the room right here. And it pumps up through that, it's called a clarifier. And then it goes over and goes down through activated charcoal, silica sands, and garnet. There's 16 inches garnet, 21 inches of silica sands, and like 12 inches of activated charcoal. When those filters get clogged up with turbidity, we turn them backwards, we bubble it up, and there's actually a trough in there. And we turn on that water and we blast it all out. So on a day like today where it was clear and there wasn't any problems, we need 900 gallons per minute. When it gets a little hazier, we need up to 1,500 gallons a minute going into that. So our pipes are pretty big to make sure that plant's fed. At any time, if we drop below, it does a hard shutdown. To save itself, the plant just shuts down, and then we got to go through startup processes and make sure there's no air gaps in lines. So we got to do that. So
Bring home all questions.
So if we go on, so we got the bypasses figured out, we're going to do that, but we're not out of the woods at all. This road is blown out, and our street supervisor, Justin, had just went in there and rebuilt culverts with the state. We had this thing great. It's not great anymore. So that's going to be part of it. I can tell you in a day and a half, we dropped over $60,000 in 3-inch fractured rock just to keep it passable on this. So we're going to be doing a lot of work on that. In order to get up in here, to get back in there, there's a choke point here. It goes down to like 12 foot wide. And that won't allow us to bring our big rigs in there for contractors with dump trucks and everything else to fit through there. So what we did, we popped a 200-foot road right here to go around the sedimentation basin. And it's all brand new and it's all stabilized out. So what's going to happen is we're going to keep maintaining the road. We're going to drive around on this newer road. We're going to go over and place a culvert in there and actually put cover and fill over that so we can bring the vehicles over. Because what's going to happen, we're going to have to build a coffer dam. What a coffer dam is, it's basically just you keep dumping rock and you flatten the top and use the right materials with right radiation, and it becomes an earthen dam basically, a rock and earthen dam. But before we can do that, there's other steps that we have to do. So the culvert's going to go in, the cover and fill. We don't want to cross over the fence line. This is considered wetland, so we're not going to disrupt that at all. We're going to put the culvert in, and then we're going to have to build another mini coffer dam. Because first thing you do, if you look at this picture, you see all the sedimentation that's in it. We have no water storage. We don't have head pressure. So we got to get that out. So the culvert will go in. A mini coffer dam will be built, and we're going to have more pumps. We're talking 2,000-3,000 gallon a minute pumps. And we're going to take all the water that's coming out of the creek that's not going to the plant, and we're going to bypass that with those pumps downstream to go. And that'll de-water everything. So once this road, this part's built already, they're going to reinforce this, put the culvert. We're actually going to get excavators in there, and dump trucks, and we're gonna pull all that sedimentation out. Last time it happened was in 2002 and again in 2012. Problem is, when they were building the dam, it was supposed to take 2 weeks to go down, the Upper Flower Creek Dam. They did it in 2 days. There was a storm event, so it was just that perfect storm. So we're gonna take care of that by removing the sedimentation, and then we're gonna lay some geotextiles down to give it a little bit better of a foundation, and then they'll just start bringing in the materials and build that cofferdam. Reason for the cofferdam is we've just lost, without having the board to be able to use that northern retaining wall, we lost all that acre foot of water, which gave us head pressure again to run the system as designed. So this cofferdam, when it goes in, it's gonna hold back like 2.5, 3 foot of water more than on the other side. So that'll raise it up and give us more acre storage here, acre foot storage here, and allow us to use the system as designed. And once that's good, then we'll take away the bypasses and it'll be operating as normal, but instead of using the northern wall and the spillway, we'll use the cofferdam. There's gonna be overflows and everything built into it to make sure it's all good there. We have contracted a special dam engineer to do all the designs for us. Once that's done, again, like I said, we're not out of the woods yet, because we still have to do permanent repairs over here to this retaining wall and everything. So we're gonna have an engineer design it. I was working with the Army Corps of Engineers again today, and they might get a task mission from FEMA. We're still finding out. So they might come in the summer and actually blow that down or rebuild it. So they were doing different options today for that. So there is some sticking points to this financially that might hit the city. And it's not pretty, but we are prepared for it if we have to. We don't want to. Right now, we have the emergency is declared. All that does for us, it lets us do emergency response measures. We have the 318 permit for getting into the stream. We have the turbidity permits. We have all that. And that emergency allows the federal agency to come in, like FEMA and the Army Corps of Engineers and all these people. But it doesn't mean we're getting reimbursed for all the work we're doing right now. So what happens, as I just spoke to Justin before the meeting, we're gathering all the costs, the city and the county, for everything that's going on, every bridge, every road, all this lower reservoir, and we're gonna go up there and hand it to the state will look at it, and hopefully President Trump will sign off on that, saying, yep, we're gonna do it. If he does sign it, then we're reimbursed for all this work that we're doing. If he doesn't, we're not getting reimbursed, and we're looking at $1 million. Just for this copper dam, to get everything going, and to get that system functioning. And then we'll have to pull out the cofferdam once we do permanent fixes on the northern wing wall. We have to remove all that material. And then it'll be returned back into the state, and we'll look at the PER for future upgrades. So does the council have any questions on anything? NTUs on who's been here. The Army Corps of Engineers has been here 5 times. We got Montana DES has been here the whole time with us, really assisting out. We've had our state representatives coming to get a tour. Mayor Taylor had a meeting with Senator Sheehy. I mean, everything that we can work on has been getting worked on. FEMA, we had a really good tour with them the other day. We just have to wait and see. And they won't give us odds on whether they'll actually do the declaration of response emergency, which will give us reimbursements. And that's.
So you said that the cofferdam is gonna be put in, and then you're gonna have to turn around and rip that out.
Yes.
What is why wouldn't we just do the fix before and not spend the money on a cofferdam that's gonna have to be?
We can't go in there and pull it when it's wet, saturated, and it won't be dried until summertime. And then do SHPO approved, we have to use SHPO approved sources and mines to get our materials. And it's always already soaked too, and you can't pack wet. It won't work. So that has to be waiting for the summer on that.
I would advise council if they have any questions about this, come in and see Mr. Sykes, he's very well versed in what's going on. He meetings twice a day with the NRC, the Army Corps of Engineers, and the other powers that be. Do you have any public comments or questions that you can try to answer in a short period of time? We're going to have a special meeting about this today, what's going on in the near future.
Just a quick question,
Coming up with.
just a quick question.